West wants to know why. Once past the barricade, he finds himself trapped in a mall with hordes of zombies around every corner. Can Frank get the scoop, dispose of the undead, and dispatch the psychopaths by any and every means necessary, all while rescuing as many survivors as he can? Find out in Dead Rising.
2, 1.
What's up, Internet? Welcome to Game to Cinema. I'm your host, Tomato Man. In this series, we take an analytical look at different films and TV shows that are based on various video games, not just as filmgoers, but as fans of the games. Is it treated as an adaptation, or does it feature an original story, but share the same themes or feel of the game? Let's see how the film adaptation to today's game works out as we take a look at the game Dead Rising and the film Dead Rising: WATCHTOWER. Dead Rising was originally released as an exclusive title for the Xbox 360 in 2006. The game was developed by Capcom Development Studio 1 and published by Capcom, with industry veteran and former Mega Man lead Keiji Inafune as producer. In Dead Rising, you take on the role of Frank West, a photojournalist who goes to a mall in Willamette, Colorado. Despite the low prices, he gets more than he bargained for when it turns out that the town's population has been turned into zombies. Frank has to survive in this mall using whatever he can to fend off a variety of threats while looking for clues to a crazy conspiracy, all within 72 hours. Pretty much anything that Frank can get his hands on can be used as a weapon, which is a good thing, because not only does he have to fight off the zombies, there are several survivors running around in this mall that need help. But there's also a handful of people walking around referred to as psychopaths. They function effectively as bosses throughout the mall. Oh, and there's a cult collecting sacrifices as well. To make matters worse, the military has the town surrounded and quarantined off. Though this story is rather serious in tone as a whole, Dead Rising maintains a sense of humor, with a variety of items that can be used on zombies to create unique photo opportunities, allowing Frank to utilize his trade and take pictures, giving him prestige points for Kodak moments of brutality and gore, or even those erotic in nature, as well as side-splitting hilarious moments. Ultimately, Frank makes it out of the insanity-filled Willamette and is able to get the news to the public. In hindsight, this game and film combo is a rather interesting first choice for this video series, as Dead Rising is no stranger to cinema in general. On the surface, Dead Rising shares many similarities to the classic George A. Romero film, Dawn of the Dead, so much so that Capcom saw fit to put a disclaimer on the front of the original packaging, stating that it had no affiliation. A film based on Dead Rising was first announced to be in production in 2014 by Legendary Pictures in association with Contradiction Films, D. Bonaventura Digital, Capcom Pictures, and Dead Rising Productions, which has since closed. Zach Lipovsky was given directorial reins, with Jesse Metcalf and Megan Ori starring alongside Dennis Haysbert and Rob Riggle as Frank West. Principal photography began in late September of 2014 in Vancouver, British Columbia, and much to my surprise, there were no major issues with the film's production. In fact, the film would see release less than a year after filming began, on May 27, 2014, exclusively on Sony's Crackle streaming service. Critical reception for this film is rather split, but generally stating that it's something the game fans will enjoy, but not so much the general filmgoer. Featuring an original story that focuses on new characters, Dead Rising: WATCHTOWER serves as a sequel or side story to the first two games. Taking place in East Mission, Oregon, the film follows a journalist stuck on the inside of a citywide outbreak. After befriending an infected woman with her own supply of Zombrex, it is discovered that the latest supply of the drug the city received is defective, leading to most of those infected turning into flesh-eating monsters. While dodging the undead and surviving psychopaths, it is revealed that it was an inside job, and the defective drug was planted to push the agenda of corrupt higher-ups. While not being a direct adaptation of the game, it does carry the same general themes of the games, while tying into the game's lore by including Frank West, which, by the way, was nicely cast. While not totally true to the game's portrayal of the character, Rob Riggle does a great job at bringing an off-the-cuff humor to the movie, while having serious deliveries of advice for the situation sprinkled in. A variety of actions and gags you can perform in the games also appear in the movie. From simple nods to the clothing changes and a serve-bot head on a counter, to traffic cones being placed on zombies' heads and smacking them around with severed limbs. The distinct signature mix of action and unique humor is present and accounted for. There's even an ironic psychopath death brought about by their own absurd take on fun with zombies. I would also like to point out an excellent shot around the middle of the movie, referred to as the, quote, epic oneer. The oneer is a long-form shot where the character progresses down the street with a bunch of weapons, using them with varying degrees of success, losing them along the way, and improvising as needed. Following him around and through a bus and over vehicles while the zombie horde grows around him, all without a single cut. Shots like these are impressive, as they need to be extensively planned out and mistakes can create hiccups in production. And they can be difficult to reset the environments, scene depending of course. In this particular case, the production took an entire day and 17 takes to get it just right, and is definitely a major highlight of the film. Now, one of the most important questions of this analysis: was the movie successful in what it was trying to do? I would say, without a doubt, yes. Dead Rising Watchtower is clearly intended as a follow-up to Dead Rising 1 and 2, as well as promotion for the then recent Dead Rising 3, with the game clearly being played by one of the psychopaths towards the end of the film. They wanted to tell a new story that worked within the established world while bringing in what fans love about the games: zombies, combo weapons, and Frank West. The other important question: is it worth watching? Well, due to the gore content, this is more of a question of taste for a lot of people. But I would say yes. If you're a fan of zombie films, there will be something here for you to enjoy. If you're a fan of the Dead Rising video game series, there will be even more for you to enjoy. Even if there's a confusingly large number of Canadian license plates in Oregon. And now, Gaming Theater presents another opinion from Geek Scorpio.
Personally, I think the film is great, and it really respects the material. You can definitely tell that there was a lot of care and effort put into this film to make it feel like a Dead Rising game. It may not stand up to other Oscar-worthy cinema, and it is no Shakespeare, but this isn't a bad thing. Dead Rising as a game always toes the line between being serious and silly, filled with an intriguing mystery along with a ridiculously fun style. The movie Watchtower is no different, with its biggest strength is keeping with the tone of the game, the threat of an unending horde, the dangers of psychopathic killers running around, and a mysterious conspiracy that has questions that need to be answered. However, our protagonist still has to deal with a zombie clown and will use random things as weapons. It takes special care in any medium to be serious, silly, dramatic, and over the top, which is one of the biggest strengths of both the game and the film of Dead Rising.
To commemorate the first episode of this series, we are trying something new. We are giving away a DVD copy of the movie we just covered. Just leave a comment and fill out the form linked in the description below by the specified time and date to enter. And with that, our silver screen dims. Time to let the credits roll. See you next time.